Guys, let's take it back a bit, okay? A lot of people have been here since the start of Le Monde Gamot. And I know this might be a shock to some, but I'm actually quite the casual. That's why we got together, me and Ralph. We thought, hardcore, casual, let's get together and talk about games. There are many games that I have not played. There is one game...
that's an understatement of the year.
There is a lot of games I have played, but there are some that I have not, okay? We'll rephrase that. One game is the Souls genre, okay?
Well, that's one game, by the way.
You know what I'm talking about.
The Souls genre is one game.
The Souls genre is something that I have looked at, and I'm like, I might get around to it once.
I'm too much of a pussy.
I'm too damn good at games, okay? Sekiro's come out, everybody, and we thought, this is going to be an interesting thing. Let's jump on, and for my first time, I'm going to play a Souls game.
I have not played Sekiro. I've only played the first, 2 or 3 hours, okay? So
I've pretty much finished it. I think there's 22 or 23 bosses. I've done at least 16 or 17 of them now. So, very odd also. I've played the game extensively. Ralph has not. Okay,
I was working on my Division review, and then I went away for the weekend. So now I'm sitting down to Sekiro. I've played about 2 or 3 hours. So I'm going to interview Sam.
Yes.
And get his in-depth thoughts of what it's like for a filthy casual scrub to play their first Soulsborne game. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen.
Let's do it. So firstly, I think the title of Sekiro is very misleading. You do not die twice, okay? I am not a shadow, okay? I did not die twice. I am a human being and I have died easily more than 500 times in this goddamn game.
This is the worst case of false advertising since the never-ending story.
Don't touch my stuff!
Okay, let me start.
Here we go.
What were your perceptions of Souls-like games before you started playing this? What did you hear about and what did you think about
Look,
them?
Alec Thickboy is a die-hard fan of Dark Souls. So look, I've seen it, of course I've seen it on YouTube or whatever, I've seen it on Alec's console, he's finished the game 11 times. So I've seen this game nearly every month, somewhere in the household or somewhere on YouTube for the last decade or whatever, right? I always had the idea that, look, it's a very hardcore game. It's not something I really want to jump into because I know it's going to destroy my sanity, okay? So I was like, it's a hardcore thing, it's not really for me.
Did you think, you just thought Dark Souls equals hard? Is that what you thought?
I thought Dark Souls definitely equaled just constantly having to grind in a certain area to try and perfect, a technique to get to the next stage. And I wasn't wrong, okay? I actually was not wrong. Sekiro is very much about that. So within this, I'm going to give you my impressions while I answer these questions. I was extremely... It's also the 7 stages of grieving with Sekiro, okay? I was shocked. Let's start there. I was shocked to see how difficult this goddamn game is. I thought, okay, you jump in, you start playing, and it gets easier over time. My God, okay? It is just a never-ending barrage of how... It shows you how shit I am at gaming every 10 seconds.
To be fair though, it shows most people how shit they are.
I guess
not at games, but just like Souls-like games, because they're specifically designed to punish you in that way.
Yeah,
So
I remember when the game's coming out and Ralph's like, oh, next week we're doing Sekiro. I'm like, yeah, cool. Well, we should finish that. I'll finish it and then we'll talk about it. He looks at me and goes, if you finish it. I'm like, yes, if I finish. I'm surprised I've gotten this far in this game.
yeah, me too. Big time.
I don't know how, but
What was the hardest game you'd ever played before this?
Definitely Aladdin on Sega. No, I don't know, but we were talking off camera and it's so true. Games have changed now where you don't have just 2 hits and you die. There's all sorts of mechanics now to keep you alive and make boss fights very different. But it's kind of like those Sega 2D things. You have 2 you have 2 hits and you're dead kind of thing.
It definitely goes back to an older model of difficulty, like the 8-bit and 16-bit era where you had to just not get hit, and if you died, then you went back to the start of the level. Soulsborne is that, you know what I mean?
Definitely.
It's if you fuck up, there's no oh, don't worry. Well, there is the resurrection mechanic this time.
Definitely.
So the difference in Sekiro is that you can die and then you can resurrect yourself, and that regenerates quite a bit, as you play through it. So that I feel takes the edge off it a little bit. But at the same time, though, it is a very different difficulty model, and that's why I think one of the reasons why Dark Souls was so influential is because it's oh, hey, remember when games were hard?
Yeah,
That's the thing now.
It's like Ninja Gaiden all over again. But I think that when I started, let's also talk about when I started playing. I was like, you know what? Fuck this game. I was such a shock for me to go from normal gaming to start playing this and just see the stark difference in terms of what they expect you to be able to kill. Like I was just, and I think that from that alone, like I've never really seen a game and thought, if you make it a certain difficulty, if you make it this hard, it fundamentally like becomes something. Well, that's Souls, baby.
Let's
and now
talk about what Sam called me and said when we were. He was about 5 hours in. He's like,
not even like 3 hours.
Bro,
in.
this is too hard, man.
Okay.
He's like, I just don't understand. This is a true story. I just don't understand why they don't just add an easy mode. What's the harm of
I
adding?
need blinders here.
What's the harm of adding an easy mode? It's like the people that just want to experience the game can play through it, and all the people that want to be hardcore can just play through it hardcore. Like, I just don't understand the problem.
I definitely,
Sam,
sadly said that. Now, I think that a lot of people that have never played a Souls game will jump on these kind of games and go, I really want to experience the world and experience what this has to offer and not feel like I'm getting, like my brain is exploding. But now, nearly finishing the game, I'm like, this game, without that difficult, if there was a different difficulty, you'd be playing a different game. Like, I get that now, and I think that a lot of people that are thinking of jumping on Sekiro, or maybe never played Dark Souls game in general, dude, like, the difficulty is, it's like, I've never seen a game that's so connected to the difficulty than Souls games.
Yeah. I think the thing with this Souls games is you can automatically take for granted that they are going to be extraordinarily well designed. Like in every component, you know what I mean? We're talking about their visual design, we're talking about combat mechanics, boss designs, like where they place all the trash, the mechanics of the trash, the numbers. You can take that all as read almost, that it's going to be amazing.
Sure.
And then after that, you start thinking about what's your relationship to it. Because that difficulty quotient, like really sort of...
Quotient?
Yes. It really sort of... it asks something of you that other games don't ask. So my question to you, Sam, is... What changes did you observe in yourself while you were playing through Sekiro?
I definitely will. I'll start with the level design and the enemy placement. You only really understand and respect that once you've had to go through a certain area again 30 times to get to that boss again. You try all different ways to get around enemies and stuff. And that's where, for me, I really respected the environment and the actual level design. Like, I've never seen level design so fucking perfect. Like, it's just perfect. Like, you can't get around certain things, and if you can get around certain things, they wanted you to get around certain things. Like, nothing, you can't pull the blinders over the developer's eyes in any way, shape, or form in this. But,
so hang on, my question is
what
changed in you while you were playing? Not like how good is the level design, Sam?
The main thing that changed when I was playing this game in terms of me as a gamer, I was like, something that seems... I feel like I'm going to do a Rocky quote now. Something that seems impossible, if you keep working at it, you're going to do it. And I feel like with this game, like the Blazing Bull, I was like, I'm never doing this boss. He's fucking too hard. But 2 hours later, I was like, yes. I mean, so I guess that, so like, I usually look at games and I can always gauge that, yes, I can do this, but I've never seen a game where I'm like, there's no way I can do this. Then you do it so much, you're like, oh, this is piss easy, once you've just fully understood the mechanics.
Yeah. It's kind of like doing a WoW raid, where you're constantly having a go at it, and it's like, this is impossible, but then after like many attempts, you master the mechanics, and by the end, you can do it basically with your eyes closed.
Yeah, and it's
like an individual sort of like conquest with the mechanics every time.
Yeah, and it has the same run back time, really. Like, it totally does. I think they just were like, WoW did it right. That's a Souls
What was the
game.
longest time you ever spent on a single boss?
3 hours.
3 hours straight?
The butterfly boss, baby. That was so Alec, Thick Boy, and his mate came over to play Smash. They got there like, oh, you're starting a boss. I'm like, yeah, called the butterfly boss or whatever. They played for 3 hours or whatever, left, and they saw me doing the final blow after they played 3 hours of Smash. So I have played certain bosses for a long time, okay?
We've all been there.
We've all been there.
And the funny thing as well is that some people in the comment section will be like, bro, I two-shot that boss.
Oh, no.
And then other people will be like, bro, I spent 6 hours on that boss.
Yeah.
Like, I remember when I played Dark Souls for the first time, like, Gwyn, the final boss, I one-shot him. And I was like, what happened there? How did I do that? And then other bosses that were super easy, it took like 5 hours to kill them because I was just so fucking... That's the thing about Dark Souls. They have certain things that you respond to in different ways.
Yeah.
It's not like that's objectively easy or that's objectively harder. You know what I mean?
And I think that what I've seen on the interwebs is everyone kind of creates their own relationship with these types of games. And I think that's kind of unique in a way, like, you know, how they kill it. Like, when I was killing a boss, I'm doing it a certain way and I was getting good results. I go online and see someone do it a completely different way. Like, there's so many ways that people can't attack this, attack this game and get like this a completely different relationship with it in terms of the fighting mechanics or just the idea of it in general, you know?
Did you actually, the story make sense to you?
I mean, it just looked like, you know, Save Princess kind of stuff, to be honest. Now, I know you said before that a lot of Dark Souls games don't make sense.
None of them make sense.
This seems pretty straightforward. Just save the princess. That was kind of the thing, and that's not even a spoiler. You find that out in like the first 2 minutes.
Yeah. I think that certainly, from what I've seen, narratively, the game is massively different from any Soulsborne I've played before. And I've played them all, by the way. I've finished them multiple times. Like, I'm a huge Souls fan as well.
Well, I haven't.
Yeah, that's right. You certainly haven't.
I haven't.
But narratively, it just jumps out at you immediately as like, hey, we've got a story to tell you, and we're going to tell it in really basic terms. Versus like other Soulsborne games, it's kind of like we're going to drip feed you these little hints about things, and nothing makes sense. And go and check Vidi Video's YouTube channel to figure it out. You know what I mean?
I think that one of the main reasons why we wanted to do this vid today is because, like, I'm a casual. Like, I represent the casual audience, but I think that I would say, if you are a casual or whatever and you've looked at Souls games and you're like, oh man, that looks like just a fucking head, like a brain hurt, like I can't be fucked for that. This game is definitely worth it. Like, I am so excited now to go back and play the other ones. It's just a completely different way of playing games, kind of thing. That so I think that you should definitely go back and play these previous games and definitely play Sekiro.
Sam called me a few hours into his playthrough, like to later on. He's like, oh bro, you know, these Souls games, oh man. He's like, they're just a masterpiece.
Yeah, but they are.
And I'm like, yeah, welcome to like 7 years ago, Sam.
Yeah, I think and I think a lot of brilliant, you know, movies or art or games in general, like sometimes when you just start something, it really takes for you to get to the end of it for its brilliance to show, you know? And like, it really was later on, I was like, oh, this all makes sense. I can understand the money mechanic, how you can save your money, or like, there's so many things to go through, but like, overall, like, I really feel like this is going to be a Game of the Year contender. Like, I 100% think that.
Every FromSoft game is a Game of the Year
Sure,
contender.
and I do think that it's my favorite Game of the Year, and we've played every game that's come out this year, and dude, this is my favorite by far. Better than Anthem.
Better than Anthem?
I knew that was coming.
We did an Anthem joke in there.
I was going to say, all the audience is like, again with the Anthem.
That's right. We're never going to let you down, fam. We're never going to give you up. Never.
We're no strangers to love. You know the rules, and so